One, you got to go get the mic from here. Okay. Stop breaking my microphone stand yourself. Marshall, can we get one more? I know it's the crappy one, but. So this is a feedback session, alternately known as the gripe session. This is your chance to tell us what we did well, what we did poorly. A couple ground rules really quickly. If it's already been discussed, I don't want to hear a bunch of Me Too's. We will interrupt you. I will mock you. I will love doing it. Please, once the topic's already been covered, we get it. All right? We do a lot of the Me Too thing. It's irritating. Don't do it. But we do want to hear genuinely what you thought we did poorly, because we can't improve it unless you tell us what we did. All right? We're going to do it department by department. If you have a comment to make, please raise your hand. We'll get somebody with a microphone to charge over to you, hopefully not tripping onto you. Please don't kill them. Unless we tell you to. And we're going to begin down at the end with Treasury, because that's got to be easy, right?
Hello? Okay. Hi. Does anyone have any questions for me for Treasury? No? That is awesome. Thank you. Operations? Ops booth? Questions? Problems?
I don't know if this would count as operations or not, but I noticed a good handful of people with small children, and it's great to see parents, geeky parents, bringing up little geeky kids. But there were certain areas, like the comm suite when it was busy, that didn't look especially safe for small children, especially those who are at the toddling age. So I was wondering if more and more people want to bring their kids, if a daycare area might be set up.
I'm going to actually defer that to when we get down to Jared, because that is a hotel question. Okay. For operations, we're referring to the lovely information booth just outside in the gaming area there, where you could come and ask questions.
Anything for ops?
I'm assuming we were perfect.
I don't know if this is for ops or programming, but panelist check-in could be maybe a little bit closer to registration, because some of the people didn't know they were supposed to pick up panelist packages as well.
We've had issues with that each year. It seems that when we have them available at registration, they don't get picked up, and when we have them available at ops, they don't get picked up. So we always end up with quite a stack of them at the end of the weekend. I'll take that under advisement. It's something I've been trying to solve too.
A follow-on suggestion to that, perhaps, if the registration check-in sheet had a asterisk or other icon that said you have a packet you are supposed to get, whether it is coming out from underneath this desk or please go to ops and pick up your packet, since we know who the GOHs and stuff like that are.
Something I'd like to see if we could integrate next year into Reg.
I would say that panelist packet, phenomenal. I mean, the whole idea of having a sign with your name, having the little personalized program thing that tells you where you're supposed to be when, light years ahead of everybody else. Just want to mention that. Thank you.
Mara?
Joe.
Mara Tynan down at the other end of the table is the one who's mostly responsible for those packets. So, thank you, Mara.
Thank you, Mara.
I was wondering, maybe an email before Penguicon telling all the participants your packet is here, make sure you're registered, and then get it, and wherever you're going to be keeping it.
Okay, I'll write that down. Thank you.
Tiny
tiny little gripe for the first part is that one of my nifties got a packet that had his name in it and like nothing else. It had his little placard with his name on it, had no book, no schedule, no nothing else in it. It wasn't a big deal. I took him over to registration and we got him another one, but small oversight. Slightly bigger gripe about ops, different issue. I had one of my programs, actually the same guy, got changed to a different room. It was approved by Christine the night before, and when I showed up the next morning, because there was no signs, there was no markers, there was nothing saying that it had been changed an hour before the panel, I went and asked, and the first thing they did was ask me who approved that change. When I said that it was Christine, they were like, okay, cool, and they said they would get signs and such put up. The signs ended up being, they put a little dash next to it on the little white piece of paper and said, move to other room. Which was, people kept coming in trying to figure out, they didn't even notice the sign was there, and I ended up drawing myself a big sign, go that way to DeSoto for this panel. And I'm just wondering, is there, if there's a normal room change, is there something you do that's bigger than just a little notation on the white sheet? Or is that typically enough?
The assumption being that if they show up to where they're supposed to be and realize that there's nothing going on, that they would check that sign to see where they should go. They can always call ops on each one of those signs. There's our Twitter and our phone number. If they have any questions, they don't even have to go anywhere. They can just call us and we could tell them.
But certainly we can do a better job with signage.
Yeah, well, I would say if that's it,
Okay,
if we're
that's
trying to trust it, yeah.
On a related note for that, I don't know if this is ops or if this is programming, but the signs in front of the rooms could be larger font.
Okay.
For there are a few people here. I'm not going to say who it is, but some of them are a little older and can't quite read the signs without squinting and getting in everyone else's way a lot.
Gotcha. Thank you.
The hotel where a lot of the panels were, the rooms have 2 doors. It would have been kind of neat to have had like. I realize the hotel doesn't want tape on their doors and stuff, but like painter's tape marking the one door that is the right one.
We had a sign, like an easel, marking the door. We'll probably do that again.
Yeah, but sometimes when there's 2 doors right next to each other and there's an easel standing there.
We'll try and make sure that we put it near the correct door. And it would be the one that is nearest the sign. Next question.
I know you don't like me to, so you can mock this if you consider it. I consider it a refinement on that. Even if that easel had a large font sign that says, this is the entrance to Stearns, that would probably be a big help on that issue.
The signs, if I recall correctly, did say the name of the room on top, didn't they? Yeah, so that was also a clue. Perhaps it was not a great clue. We didn't bring up Steve from Blue's Clues to double check us, but I'll certainly do that next time. Question that isn't related to that particular topic.
Hello, I was at some point trying to dig up a schedule. I got a park in the smartphone, hit the website, looked for a PDF, couldn't find it, eventually found this scheduled web page in reference to an app that I couldn't track down. I eventually managed to get the page in and managed not to delete it for most of the con, but I think if there was that app feature available, either it wasn't something you covered, some people said you had, but it wasn't obvious enough that I found it. So
that's actually fair. I couldn't find it either, so I'd like to make fun of you for that, but I spent quite a lot of time staring at that thing. I'm beginning to think it was a joke. I don't know.
The other thing that would have done for me, I got a PDF reader in this thing. A simple PDF of either the schedule book, the mini schedule, or even both would have done. So.
Were they on the website? Oh, sorry. We only sent it to mail list. We didn't put it on the website. We could fix that next year. Sorry about that. You have to follow a quest if you want information, people. If you don't get all the quest points, you can't get information. Thank you.
I've heard a lot of complaints about SCUD, and I'm volunteering to take over some of the back-end stuff for that, and I think we could potentially put individualized schedules, whatever, that you could just pull up right on your phone without too much issue, at least an idea.
I'm sorry, just bear with me. We had to transition to programming since you guys did. Sorry.
You are my new best friend, and I want your phone number and email right now.
It should be noted that I constantly ask for people's phone numbers at these sessions, and I never get nearly the response that she just did. Ladies, step it up. Some of the men. You know who you are. Nerd. Jane.
One thing I'd like to add on at least the, let's call it the link, on the mobile link on the Penguicon website, you get to the schedule page, is is to add also a time instead of just day and venue or room. Also add a time, so.
It's just an extra clip.
Well, there's no filter. I'm saying the filters.
Oh, the filters.
I'm sorry. Yeah, the filters. It's filter by times. You know, instead of just going through the whole thing. If it's like 12 and you have to pass through the 10s and 11s and.
It's gotta be fucking sad. Seriously, you can't imagine anything.
Oh, is that what's good?
That's what we're talking about. That's like everybody wants to die. No, you're right. That thing is such bullshit.
Scad has made me cry at least 7 times in the past 2 months.
How many times this con?
The schedule sucked, but it was phenomenal that it existed and it hadn't previously.
Anything else for programming? I feel like I'm eating this thing. Go.
Some of the lower level after dark stuff might be able to start at 8 instead of 10.
To be fair, there were tech talks and science talks and costuming talks and eco talks still running at 10 and 11. So I agree, we can start earlier, but some of that was also the request of the panelists presenting. We can work around that if there's more flexibility.
What does lower level mean?
That's a good question.
Some of them are a little hardcore, and I'd like them being after midnight when the children should all be asleep.
From what I heard, they all ended up fairly hardcore, so I'm pretty comfortable with their time slots. Might even like it later, thank you. But I get what you're saying.
Following up on that same thing, sounds like just the poly panels too. Yes, I understand they're after dark. We're not sex. It's not that. We're talking about relationships. Why are they at 11 p.m., midnight, 1 a.m.? Please make them a little earlier so people can actually go to them.
A lot of these panels were placed at times at the request of the chat. Wait, did they say that, chat? Sorry.
I did just answer
Sounded
that
familiar.
question. It was by request of the panelists presenting at some of them, and some of them were placed at times that fit the schedule based on when they were requested, been turned in to me, and you guys have seen the schedule as far as the presenters for a little bit longer than the attendees, so I can understand how attendees might be a little frustrated with it. It is something we can look into changing a little bit, but it still comes down to the people running it do get a little bit of choice at their times.
We have a problem that amounts to that of physics. We have, how many rooms did we have?
Physics sucks!
Diane? Physics does suck. How many rooms did we have, Diane? How many is that? So we had, somewhere in the city, call it 15 rooms, ballpark. How many schedule items did we have?
377.
How many hours did we have?
489.
Those of you that are reasonably good at arithmetic can probably see the problem I'm alluding to. Everybody wants their pet panel at the same prime times. We have 15 rooms and 400 items. It's going to cause a problem. Yeah, we're sorry, sometimes things are going to get bumped later, some are going to get bumped earlier. 2 years ago, everybody complained that tech was too early or too late. Now it's the After Dark panels. Next year it's probably going to be, I don't know, costuming or whatever, because I'm going to bump everything for my own Jer's board panels. So it's a known problem, and yeah, we do the best we can, but the problem that we have is we have too much fucking programming, and it's a pretty sweet problem.
I'm not sure if this is programming or hotel, but Penguin TV, you know, I viewed it just to see what it was. Some of the text on there, at least I guess on the right side, were really hard to see. I mean, most of these CVs are still the CRT.
We didn't take into account the fact that we moved to mostly tube or CRT style tube. Really? How did I do that?
Yeah, cathode.
We also moved back in time, mostly to make more space for poly panels. No. Sorry, I had to do it. No, we didn't realize until literally Nuri showed up on Thursday or on Friday that we were mostly tube TVs, or there we go, CRT TVs. So it totally scaled it out. We're gonna tweak the font to make it readable. Thank you. We did notice that. Like, oh, that's terrible. You can't read that here.
Friday night, the food panels in 402 were accompanied by live music, which made listening to the panelists really difficult.
Okay, I have to confess ignorance here. Could we? So the food panels were accompanied by what?
Oh, I could comment on this because I ran a food panel Friday. Scrub Club graced us with their presence in 402 to give a demo practice warm-up show to the Saturday night Penguin concert. I don't have all the details of how that was arranged.
It wasn't arranged well. We apologize for that. By the time we figured it out, it had been apparently going on for hours, I'm told. I apologize. We will try not to let that happen again. We weren't aware it was happening then. So yeah, thank you. You're right. I forgot about that entirely. I blocked it out, I think, is actually a better term.
I know there's some commentary on how much you guys hate SCED right now, but I actually, no? Sorry, can you hear me now? All right, good. I actually thought the mobile app was really beneficial to just have in my hand, right? The one thing that I did notice was that if you hit the now button, it doesn't take you to now. It takes you to like Sunday at some time for some of yesterday or Friday. Yeah, and the thing that I was thinking was that maybe you could have a big ass sign that effectively says, is your paper schedule wrong? Did you lose your shit? You still have your cell phone, so scan this QR code, and then you've got your schedule. It'll drop you into the SCED app. You're right, you're right there. Most of us, maybe some of us have a friend or we have one ourselves that we could just bloop, you scan and then it takes you and drops you to, either that or even add QR codes onto the signage for the rooms and then say, oh, it's been rescheduled. I don't know how quick you can update SCED, but it could have like the talk, like, oh, it's on this sign, you scan the thing, and then maybe it drops you into that time slot of here's where it moved to depending on how fast the schedule can update, who is doing it. So I actually like it. It was very handy for me, but a little bit of tweaking could be cool.
Okay, two comments?
Yeah, I'm not willing to actually deal with SCED, whatever
No.
it's saying. It's going to be live, whatever.
But all of those ideas are awesome for whatever we implement, but can I get one request? Can you make the sound effect again?
Which one?
Bloop, bloop. Thank you very much. No, those are awesome ideas. Can you email programming at, just to recap those, because I'm sitting here? Because Tim is doing, Tim's over there. Tim, what the fuck? Hi, how you doing? So can you email programming at, just so that he'll have those top of mind?
I'll do it right now.
You're the man, thanks.
Hi, Sarah here. Just one more factor in the Friday night musical invasion of the food panel. I understand, I was told, look, these are musical guests of honor, we have to let them play, but I had actually been asked for liquid nitrogen. When can Jim Geddes come in and learn liquid nitrogen? And I said, well, we have these options, and one of the options is midnight to 2 a.m. Well, maybe he came in to try and learn how to make liquid nitrogen ice cream, but the room was packed, and maybe he couldn't get in, maybe the music was too loud, and he didn't want to come in. So I still don't know if he tried to learn, liquid, he's a guest of honor, and I don't know what happened with him. The other thing is, We were doing alcohol in our ice cream. People coming in and out to listen to the music, it made it very hard for us to keep track of who we checked and who we hadn't. And yes, we were trying to check everyone every time because that's what the only thing you can do if you've lost track of who's coming in and out. But it made it much, much harder. Please don't counter-schedule any of that in the same room as any alcohol event.
Right, like we said, we definitely didn't plan that. It wasn't scheduled, it was accidental, and I swear we promised never to do it again. So we're going to go ahead and put a check mark in front of that as covered and move on to Mr. Beeler. Oh, I'm sorry, no, I lied. I'm a total dick. Ignore me. We knew that though.
Yeah. This is probably something that's happened in past years. I'm sure it's been covered before, but I've never heard it, so I'll ask anyway. What's the possibility of having like a kind of set room? Like, you know, like all eco programming will be in one room, or all, like there will be like drumming happening in one room. Is that just completely impractical because some things are such different levels of draw? Yes.
It doesn't really work. If every single panel from a given track was going to draw the exact same number of people and have the exact same AV needs, then that would work great. The problem is we can't AV blanket the entire place because that's ridiculous. And different things draw different people. Some things are a 10-person draw, some are a 400-person. Well, okay, we don't have a damn thing, it's 400-person draw, but you know, you get the picture. You know what I mean? We do our best. We try and block it out. I mean, Makerspace was camped out in one spot most of the weekend. We tried to centralize most of the tech. Most things were kind of camped with a base room, and then we just satellited them out. Is that a word? Satellited? It is now. Satellited them out wherever, you know, space or AV needs or whatever necessitated it. We do our. That's a thing we try. I don't know that it's necessarily working. So, oh no, that's a valid point. It just doesn't work right.
Okay, two things. Vis-a-vis the scrub club situation, Go liaisons might want to ride herd on their goes a bit more.
What scrub club situation?
Where they showed up in the...
Okay, can we take the microphone back away from him or turn it off or something?
No, I mean, this is...
Next up.
Okay, next question. I noticed on the schedule, I could see roughly how many people were interested in going to a particular panel. Do you guys use that planning which goes in which room ahead of time? Have you thought about that?
I would say that for the most part, the schedule was created before attendees had access to check off whether they would want to come. So that would mean, no, I could not look at those numbers before I gave you a room and a time. Even after those numbers come in, I only had 200 attendees doing that, or possibly having the capability of doing that, and knowing that we go upwards of 1,000, I can't base all of them on the 200 that starred items. We did make some efforts in the last week to accommodate things we saw like that, but the schedule was huge and we couldn't do it for everyone and every time.
It's my new favorite answer. That's on his list. Thank you. Right to your, whatever, on my left and my right.
Okay, East Coast. I'm trouble. I don't know if has the art show been covered yet, or so that's
Did we have an art show?
That's the thing. That's the thing. I actually want to applaud the fact that you took something out that's been here year after year, like the dance that most people don't go to, that needs to be put on away. Anyway, the art show that wasn't here, I hear no one even asking about it. That's awesome that they're actually taking things out that no one doesn't use anymore. I don't know if anybody just forgot about it.
Thank you. No, I definitely appreciate it. I was sitting here trying to figure out what the hell happened to the art show. It died a natural death, you are correct.
Geek Prom and the DJ you had for it was fantastic.
Oh yeah, for those that couldn't hear, Geek Prom was amazing, and we had, am I fair in saying that it was the most successful dance Penguicon's had? It might have been the only truly successful dance, and for the record, the person that essentially con-chaired a sizable portion of the year, ran programming, also invented and made run the Geek Prom, so, it's fair. Imagine what happens when you turn her loose with a whole con.
Anything else for programming?
100% sure if this is like the right thing or even how addressable this issue is, but most of the panels I attended, there was insufficient seating at all across the board. Most notably at the sleep hacks panel, where they turned away twice as many people as there is room for.
Thank you. Yeah, we do our best to adjust. We take head counts. And in fact, Mara and her program apps team were taking counts at top and bottom, and it looked like even in the middle of every single panel, so that we could get a good gauge on what sorts of panels did what numbers, so that we can do a better job of adjusting in future years.
Oh, I mean, there were not enough chairs.
Right, so that would be a full room. We can't count imaginary people that would have shown. You know what I mean? We do the best we can by counting actual attendance and extrapolating based on full rooms.
Question to you. Was it because there were tables in the room?
In many cases, yes. In some cases, there was enough floor space, just not enough chairs.
I wanted to touch on the birds of a feather sessions. The ones I attended were great, but there seemed to be a common thread that either the people that were there didn't quite get how to start the session, and or it digressed very, very quickly and had to be brought back by people that were obviously, interested in being in there. My suggestion would be to try and find someone to be a moderator to start it and to kick it off and do that. In the two I went to, there was no moderator.
Right. For the record, what you're describing is a panel. We have a lot of those. And then we have a thing called a bird of a feather session, which is we give you a room, we slap a topic on it, and anybody that wants to sit and chat about it is welcome to do so. We don't monitor it or whatever. We don't care. It's a room for you guys to chat about it however you wish. What you're actually describing, though, is a panel, and if there was stuff that would have been panel-type material that you wanted to see, please shoot an email to programming, and we'll try and help you get a panel together for it. Because that's how we can moderate those or whatever. The BOF sessions are just a different beat.
I'm just saying one person keep it on topic.
Right, that's a panel, though, or at least a moderated session.
No, it's a discussion.
Then you can go to any of those you want and moderate the shit out of them. I will make you a badge that says official moderator of BOF sessions. Next.
I know you said that it was impractical to blanket supply every room with AV equipment. I was in 2 panels where the presenter wanted to show a video clip and had to go hunting for speakers. We get a couple pair of powered speakers available for use.
We're totally capable of getting speakers for every panelist that tells us they have audio ahead of time. Problem is, we have a nomenclature issue that I think we need to fix for next year. We keep referring to the rooms that have audio or video or both as AV rooms, when what's closer to the reality would be we have B rooms, we have A rooms, and we have AV rooms. We probably need to fix that so that people don't go, oh, I don't have to tell them. It'll already have audio. That's what the A means. So you're right, we need to fix that, but it's a nomenclature issue, and then hopefully we'll get better feedback from panelists. If you're running a panel, let us know what you need.
Room specs are already on the list.
Oh, it's on his list. I want your phone number now, dude. Different reason.
I think this is mostly my fault, but when I registered for 2 panels, OpenBSD and computer books, maybe I didn't ask for a projector and a screen. So perhaps the bureaucracy for doing things includes. Are you sure you don't need any special equipment?
We were shunted for the OpenBSD panel to the adjacent room, which had a projector and screen, so that worked well. But this morning there wasn't a projector or screen available. I brought my own projector, so we went to the wall. But and I think it's my fault. But perhaps the bureaucracy could ask like 6 times to make sure that the panelist knows that whether or not they need equipment.
First of all, let me tell you, best possible way in the world to begin your question or comment is with, I believe this is my fault. I already was in love with your question. No, in all honesty, one of the things that we fell down on dreadfully, that often was a stopgap for that, was emailing out the program items to the program participants ahead of time. It just fell through the cracks amidst the hustle bustle of getting it out there. Normally that's one of those stopgaps where people go, whoa, I'm going to have AV, and this room doesn't say AV. So you're right, we should have additional feedback on that. But I think it's on his list. This list is amazing. Next up.
Okay, and this isn't what it'll sound like right off the bat, but on the birds of a feather thing, part of the problem I think with the goings on is I wasn't clear on what that even meant until late last night when there was in a room of people who were trying to figure out why there were no panelists showing up, until somebody who actually understood wandered in and explained it. So if it was written down anywhere easily, I missed it. In that case, it's my fault. But
well, it sounds like it was in the program book, but not on the blurb. Maybe we need to add that same blurb that's in the program book to every Birds of the Feather session. Yeah, that's a good idea. We'll just add the blurb that describes what it is to every BOF session. Is that on your list?
So, still on programming, I think the diversity of programming here at Penguicon beats anything. It is wonderful. And I'm not saying that just because I was able to make liquid nitrogen ice cream, present a tech talk on continuous integration, and teach swing dancing. But I love that this con welcomes people who do all that. At one of the swing dance lessons, and there were two by two different sets of people, I talked with a guy from Toronto, and he comes down because there just aren't a lot of cons like this con. Noah Sussman, who came here from Etsy this time and gave kind of a stealth talk because we kind of recruited him at the last minute and didn't really get a chance to promote him. He absolutely loved it. He gave a technical talk, but he's talking next time about his wife that he can bring back to listen to the Echo stuff because they're interested in urban farming, because they live in New York City, blah, blah, blah. I just think the way this convention pulls together so many interests is wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you.
One of the people who offered a complaint, I would like to say this. I'm working on programming for another convention. I'm not worthy!
I was ready to run. I thought he was going to hit one of us. I was reasonably confident it was me. I was willing to trip Solithry on the way out. Any other programming questions, or are we moving on? Moving on. Moving on to volunteers. We go down that end of the table. Volunteers.
Questions or comments for volunteers?
The prom volunteers rocked. The non-suite volunteers were insane. Just so you know.
In some cases, literally. Too soon?
This con, everybody came and stayed to the con suite for extended periods of time. We were so busy, and it was a new room, different, and these volunteers, I would yell at them, your shift is over. Go home. And they were like, I can't leave you alone. I won't leave the door unguarded. And I'm not kidding you. People sat there for hours and hours. Unreal. Yeah. Absolutely.
Any other volunteers? Oh, it looks like we have one over there.
I can talk really loud.
Oh, holy crap. Yeah, you can.
I want to say thank you for the enormous gift you put in my 10-year-old daughter. She is a very social child, and she's that. So, Morgan rocks.
Morgan did amazing. for the record, Morgan ran several missions for me personally and got them all right, which is more than I can say for several members of our Concom or staff. I'm hiring her next time, the rest of you are fired. I'm not even paying your $0. Over here.
Hi, on the issue of volunteerism, when I was volunteering in the con suite, I did notice, and I don't want to be this nitpicky person, a few minor food safety issues. It's great that you have a high rate of turnover on items like lunch meat, but I did notice items like dip sitting out for hours, and that's basically a petri dish for bacterial growth, and I'd hate to see people get sick. I know space is at a premium and you can't afford to put buckets of ice under everything, but just please be aware of the fact that some of these items are sitting out for longer than they should be. And also people were touching food items with their bare hands, and maybe just putting up signs reminding people to wash their hands frequently would be a good thing.
Okay.
Want to see people get sick, but I agree with you, and we can try that.
All right, volunteers. I worked in as staff in the game room and the tabletop game room, and it would probably be a good idea to have a staff person or a volunteer come down every once in a while to see if we need to run for something, because I was stuck there all day yesterday. It would have been nice to have a volunteer there, so.
In the tabletop gaming, they should have had at least, they had one volunteer 24 hours a day.
I never saw that person, so
okay.
If there was somebody there, I didn't see them.
Okay, that would be something to look into. This may be a possible lack of communication, or the volunteer walking into the gaming room and being like shiny object and getting distracted by the awesome games. But it came to my attention that some of the volunteers either never quite made it to Ryan or the gaming staff, or did not identify themselves. So maybe for volunteers in the future, let's make sure, we'll make sure they know who they're going to find.
I was going to ask, I had people come up to me that I saw in the gaming area for like 2 or 3 hours, and they would come up to me with a sheet and say, hey, can you sign this? I volunteered here. I had no clue you were volunteering here. I would have had you do something. So a lot of people that came in to volunteer made absolutely no mention that they were a volunteer.
Oh, those were our undercover volunteers. We hope those worked out for you. No, we'll get that squared away. They aren't sneaky, I'll tell you what.
On that note, I would just comment on the note that they want to check in, check out with the volunteers. Maybe we could do something like that, where they have to have a sign in by a staff signature. That's when they came to that department, and then sign out by a staff signature. So maybe that would alleviate the problem. So at least one staff person from that area knows that there's a volunteer that they find out.
That sounds fantastic.
That might actually help alleviate that problem.
Brilliant. Next.
Is there a way to volunteer ahead of time? Because I got the Legion of Doom email. I volunteered in the past. I emailed back, hey, can I help set up? I do that a lot. I really like that. And never got responses back.
Take the hint. No, I'm just kidding.
A no is, no thank you is perfectly acceptable. But a black hole is kind of,
There is this amazing thing that happens about 3 weeks from now where volunteers gets a flood of I want to help out, and then it happens again in about 6 months before the con. Unfortunately, because programming does not get nailed down, there's no schedule of volunteers to fill until about 2 weeks out, which is when I started emailing with people who were interested and sent out mass emails saying, hey, if you're still interested in this, please respond to me.
I emailed a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks ago. Asking about setup help.
Okay, then it was a communication problem that we can certainly work harder to try and repair in the future. We're not going to have a microphone-to-microphone argument about a specific single case of bad communication. I'll punish everybody. All of you.
The long answer on that
No,
one.
that's what we're not doing.
Okay.
Moving to the next question.
Next question.
So this is sort of volunteer since all of you are volunteers. And since the volunteers can't seem to find the staff, I don't know who staff is unless I see you guys sitting up there. I don't have a really great way to identify, oh, you're a staff person, just seeing you in the hall or seeing you at an area. And I don't, it's a stealth ribbon. It's a ribbon, it's black, it's silver on black, it's hard to read. Maybe
I think you need hats.
Not sure what that would be, but something a little...
Okay, you know what? Everybody stop or you're all going home. Wait, we're all going home anyways. All right, if we could have a person, preferably the one with the mic, talking at a time, that would be awesome. To respond to that, I just noticed as I'm looking around that it does say on all the badges, staff and Concom, in a print that is about visible when I get to about here. Yeah. So, perhaps we can do something to label that better, not just a ribbon which disappears into a sea of ribbons, and not just a, hey, my turn.
Yellow badge.
Yeah, so maybe a different color badge or something crazy. I don't know. Thank you. That is correct. We need to identify our staff and Concom better. Is that on your list?
Is it on? Okay. I was actually going to bring up, somebody mentioned with the badges, how they look just like previous years. If we could do something like even color coding staff versus people with so many volunteer hours, regular attendees, guest of honor, with a different graphic, maybe even a QR code, so you could, if you wanted to give out link.
Well, they do have a different. They do all have a different graphic, and they do say different things.
But
as it turns out, all of them being penguins,
yeah,
might not differentiate enough. So to reiterate the thing I said just moments ago, yeah, perhaps we need to find a better way to differentiate that, and that's something we can work on this year. And maybe we'll even slap that onto your list. Next, on the volunteers.
So, dealing with volunteer badges, Penguicon 2012 is not geeky enough. I recommend that we look to doing our version as a Ubuntu release version, next year being Penguicon 13.4, as it will be in 2013 in...
He's trying to start a political war.
No, not KDE.
I volunteered at the con suite, and I worked with somebody who actually got really upset about these sanitation issues. It was just the meats, and it wasn't anybody's fault. We just couldn't get ice from the hotel staff at the right time. But there's a number of procedures that I think I know well enough to prevent that from happening next year, and I wanted to know if I could join staff at the con suite next year.
Yes.
You should swing by some meetings, send an email.
Any more of you want to come up and sell your souls? Just saying. Oh, lease your soul.
I was only here for part of the weekend, and I am not familiar enough with Penguicon. Didn't read the program book, I must confess. I saw Legion of Doom, and I had no idea it was volunteers. I was only here for a short time, but I would have been glad to have checked to see if there was something I could do.
Oh dear God, do you want to do it or you want me to?
Yes.
I must confess, this has been a fun email exchange. So, at some point, we started calling volunteers penguins. At some point, we also started calling staff and Concom penguins. Also, it's notable that all of our staff, Concom and volunteers, all volunteer, making any nomenclature we use, no matter what it is, for volunteers confusing. We tell the volunteers they're volunteers, and we also refer to our Concom as volunteers, which means that when people look up what volunteers get, they get 3 different responses and think they are congruous, when in fact that's 3 different positions. So I guess, henceforth, Legion of Doom is the name of our volunteers until somebody gets tired of it and changes it, and it's on the website and on the wiki and in the program book, and hopefully, if we don't change it for a year or 2 in a row, it'll stick until we change it again. And I apologize. It's going to be confusing no matter what. Yeah.
I would have done a little bit.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's fair. In fixing the confusion, we have managed to make confusion, which is pretty much what we do. Once in a while, it's kind of neat, but good point, thanks. Anything else on volunteer / Legion of Doom, as if that wasn't confusing enough now? All right, moving on to the house we got. Want to do a concert? That should be fun.
Here's how I'm going to play Mike Stand for Consuite. First of all, I'm gluten intolerant. You can't do anything about that. Thank you. Because you do all that you do, and you get the most bitch dad joke.
For the record, I'm also a little bit in love with you right now for the lead-in on that. I'm gluten intolerant, and there's nothing you can do about that. You are right, sir. Thank you.
Really briefly, at maybe 3 in the morning or something like that the night, the tub of pop was entirely Shasta Cola. I would humbly suggest that for this particular con, no one likes Shasta.
Can I ask a question? The fuck is Shasta Cola? I've never fucking heard of that. Is that even real? What is that shit?
It's a short can and it tastes right like the open soda.
Did you buy me Kmart soda?
No, it was GFS and it was requested.
So grounded.
The only person who wrote me with a request said they wanted Shasta.
Alright, which one of you little fuckers? Children, cover your ears. Which one of you sons of bitches? I don't even drink soda actually, so I'm not really that
It was caffeine-free Shasta Cola.
Sorry, Aaron, about your microphone there, but I have to flip the table now. So, sorry about the Shasta.
It won't happen again.
Shasta shit. We'll fix that. She will be beaten.
Shasta Cola is what hospitals serve. That's what.
Yeah, do you hear that? Hospitals.
Yes.
You know what people do there? Die.
I've had it 4 times.
We're gonna need the sanitation engineer to get rid of that shit. Thank you, sir.
Comment.
Next up.
Comment about ice in the bathtub. I don't know for the pop. I don't know if there was just no ice to be had, but having run the consuated confusion for about 5 years in the past, one thing I did was I had some volunteers who would just occasionally come by and get a bucket of ice, and if that was formalized, like an ice miner cadre, such that there were some buckets, and when people noticed that the ice was down, they went and did it. If you spread that thankless task over several people, then there might be more. Except, was there no ice to be had? I don't know.
What's the point? It was fucking Shasta. Why would I keep that shit cold? It can't make it better. No, that's a good point. We can do a better job of that. That is mostly my fault. I did a poor job of actually coordinating scheduling of ice. Maybe I'll do better next year if we get fucking good soda. Good point though, thank you. Next!
I'm not sure if this falls quite under Consuite, but since you are in charge of the pop and stuff, I noticed that there was a can bin up in Consuite, but there was so many cans thrown into the trash down here at Tabletop Gaming. Maybe it would be a good idea if we could get a can garbage down here, because there was at least $10 in there last night. There was probably more, and that's money that can go back to the convention to make it better, and probably buy better soda. That's not shit.
I think I can say with absolute authority that the year that we throw this con underneath the starter of the green track, we're probably going to have recycle bins. But no, you're absolutely good point, and I'm confident we're all going to be beaten severely for that shit now. Thanks a lot. Sarah, we're really sorry, I promise. We love the earth.
Thanks. A 2-part shout out. First off, I don't know how many people here go to other conventions east of the Rockies, say, but if you ever do, you will be sorely disappointed in their consuites because you are spoiled absolutely shit rotten.
Here. This is the best con suite anywhere ever. Nothing else comes close. Second, con suite, thank you, bent over absolutely backwards to get the LN2 ice cream people everything we needed and more. Things we forgot. Oh, you didn't have a popcorn machine. Why would I think you had a popcorn machine? I didn't bring any popcorn. They provided popcorn. They provided cream, milk, went on shopping runs when stuff was missing. It was just phenomenal. And we got to make ice cream instead of running around looking for lemons. So thank you, thank you. Thank you.
I have to say that the credit goes to the staff and the volunteers, because without them doing the crap work, and it is crap work, there's no way I can run around and help people that are part of the con suite in some way. So you really should give your thanks to all the people who busted their butt actually working in there. Some of my beer trolls sat for 12 hours pulling tabs.
Alcoholics. Before we go to the next question, I do want to point out, Phil, sir, could you stand up for a minute? They somehow didn't make it up here for the staff part, but these two individuals tirelessly ran liquid nitrogen panels. These three, I'm sorry, perhaps I'm an asshole. Tirelessly ran liquid nitrogen for you, hungry, ice cream eating bastards, all weekend long. Give them a round of applause because they were amazing. Thank you guys. We really appreciate it.
I know you hate me too, but the con suite is the most amazing amenity that you have here. And I just have one kind of complaint issue that came up. I don't know if it was a combination of the many people that were in there, the hot food that was being offered, but the temperature in the con suite was outrageously warm. And I don't know if that can be fixed for next year, or if a different location can be chosen, but it was ridiculous.
Diane, can we get giant frigging HVACs wheeled into that thing? Because even vented nitrogen all over for a second or two. Yeah, we cranked the AC in those units, and they just can't keep up with the fact that we are, and please don't take offense when I say this, a large heat generating group of people. I mean this in many ways. We are a large heat generating group of people. Okay, we heat up a room. So yeah, we'll do the best we can, but it's just a closed space with a bunch of geeks eating.
Well, I just don't know if there's a different location that would work better here in the hotel.
We can put you outside.
No, we cannot.
We could do like troughs and Shasta.
Wait, if we get troughs, do I have to cook? If we get troughs, do I have to cook?
Gotcha.
Oh, okay, cool, I'm good.
Next, but no, good point, thank you.
I really appreciated the homemade tomato juice that was in there. Yeah. But it would have been nice to have something to open it with.
Yeah, that was a faux pas, huh? How'd you get it open? Because I never got mine.
I actually used a little tab here
And then you didn't share, thanks.
Sorry.
Wait, you used your lanyard MacGyver?
Yeah.
Holy shit. You're on ops staff now.
It would have been really nice if we could have taken the booze just even across to the net panel room to lessen the crush of people.
We'll discuss that. That's possible. I mean, we'll discuss the logistics of that. That's not a bad idea. We'll see if we can make that work.
I got something for his list. Suggestion of hot flavors for the con suite, including not Shasta.
That is not on my list. Oh, I get to buy more Shasta because he did not put it on the list. Y'all heard that. He did not put it on the list, so I can buy more.
His list does have an end. All right, we have somebody over here that tried to start up here. Yes.
I'm aware that the room is smaller than con suites in the past, so that I think it is. It feels like it is. I miss the cafe atmosphere of previous years. I don't know if that is something that can be fixed, changed, altered, whatever.
It's nomenclature. You don't know we're talking about cafe atmosphere. You mean
the tables to sit around and chat, and as opposed to everybody having to stand in the corner and try to be out of the way.
Okay, I know what you mean now. I'm sorry. I'm an idiot. Go on.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that I missed that, and if it's something that can be brought back, that'd be awesome.
That's actually something that that I was thinking about. So we'll discuss it. It's a possibility. I'm not going to say absolutely not. Right?
Yeah, we'll discuss it. Who's busting the tables? You are?
Oh no, we'll pay people in Shasta.
You have people on your concrete staff who are paid through the industry professionals. So we do know how to bust tables, just saying.
Oh, I know.
We're very bad tippers.
Well,
That's the hotel staff. We're very bad tippers.
If you bring us a beer, that's generally tipping up.
Done. Next up.
Okay. I was actually thinking very much along the same lines. I think the con suite's great. We didn't really have the space, but I don't really think that needs to be the con suite. If you could just say reserve the neighboring 2 rooms down the hall, keep the alcohol out, just throw chairs in there. And then you
But that's where all the stuff is. I could put chairs in there, but then there ain't nothing in the con suite.
This is also, yeah, we can definitely bat this around. There's possibly a solution here. We'll talk about it during the planning year. So those of you that are super interested in this as a solution, consider coming to CONCOM meetings, or what are we calling those now? CONCOM planning meetings?
Yep.
Those things that I'm going to keep accidentally referring to as CONCOM meetings, and just substitute that.
And they are announced on our Twitter feed and usually on our website.
And in the mailing list, and the wiki,
Or email
Facebook.
me at consuite@ and send your suggestions and we'll get them in the loop so we can do something.
Yeah, awesome, thank you.
A couple of quick points. One, in defense of the Shasta Cola, we did make a lovely Shasta Cola caffeine-free float with the liquid nitrogen ice cream, which was well received during the Saturday night.
Saved by that.
Some people liked it. And secondly, when you have a really hot room, if you can get in touch with the liquid nitrogen people, we could tool the doer in and splash it around on the feet. It's perfectly safe, really.
So I'm hearing liquid nitrogen wet t-shirt contest. I'll be contestant number 2.
4 years ago.
Yes, sir.
Just one comment. Think about swapping space between the computer room and the con suite. The computer room was set for 800 people. You could have a wonderful spread there. And
Absolutely.
Then lots
We're
of
going to
places.
raise ticket prices by double plus.
Why?
Because I can't imagine how much, what's the infinity number of dollars it would cost to serve our food on your floor in a Union Hotel. Oh, it's not even possible.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Is this a perfect space?
The only reason the con suite can exist upstairs because it's in a private guest room. Any food, we are licensed to have any food served within the hotel come from us. So there's a lot of procedures that are behind the scenes that are shared, but that's the only way that can happen on hotel property.
And having it catered by the hotel, which is what would have to happen, would cost approximately, and we did the math, infinity dollars. Like literally, we did it and the 8 fell over and we were fucked. Next.
I'm sure you're perfectly aware of this, but I would like to bring it up anyways. Around noon yesterday, you ran out of plates, and everybody was eating out of.
We did not run out of plates.
Oh, well.
You have my permission to beat the living daylights out of the person that stole the entire case and box of plates from the concert. When I find this person.
Not a credible threat.
I said I'm sure you're well
Yeah,
aware, but
yeah, we're really sorry about that. It was, get the plates. We ran for the plates. Where's the plates? I had 4 people, not feeding you, going through everything in all 4 rooms to find them. And then I went, where's the box?
So note to self, large walk-in safe. Large walk-in safe for paperware. That's going to be fun.
Which is why whenever you needed spoons or forks, you had to wait a while? Because right after the plate incident, I got paranoid, so I hid all those forks. And then they'd say, I need a fork, and I'd be like, oh darn, where did I put it? So, yeah.
Thanks for making Consuite head paranoid schizophrenic. Just what we needed.
All right,
Next
also
up.
an idea on the cafe situation. I know that there, right next to the Consuite, there is stairs to go up one level. So perhaps if you put the concrete on one level and then the adjacent, the other side suite, have the cafe for Consuite, and then move the liquid nitrogen people up one floor.
Right, we
and then
can
have
discuss how to possibly do this thing at planning meetings throughout the year. This is mostly for feedback about how things were done this year. If you want to plan, we definitely invite all of you. Shoot us an email, consuite@penguicon.org, come to our planning meetings, come over to my house, we'll make out for a little bit. Yeah, duh, man. But yeah, not to just shut that down, but we could do planning stuff for about 12 months. As it turns out, we will. But this isn't an opportune time for it, so yeah. But definitely we want to discuss how to do that at planning meetings.
Consuite, it sounds like suffered shrinkage here with the box of plates.
I did not. It was cold in there.
It gets on that note. Penguicon's growing. It's a bigger con. I had a dealer's table. This is the first con I suffered shrinkage. It wasn't a big deal, but it does happen. When cons grow like this, eventually you're going to get the opportunists.
Paper plate thieves. Right over here.
The thing that worked really well last year was the beer garden, that we had the Consuite in one and then the beer in the other. Since I know it's not you, it's the liquor laws, that if you get booze in the Consuite, it can't leave the Consuite. And so you either have to chug your booze or stand around in the hot room. So it worked really well at was it last year? That we had the beer room and the food room. And that was awesome. And then for the cafe, was it like 4 years ago when we had that whole restaurant?
If we can discuss the planning part of how to do the cafe Consuite
No,
thing.
I'm just saying that I think it's a bad idea because when we did it 4 years ago, we went
So we
all
can
over
discuss
the
whether or not it's a good idea, how to do it, all kinds of planning related topics at planning meetings throughout the year, approximately for the next 12 months, that you can find on the Twitter feed, website, blah, blah, blah. But we're not going to do planning here. We're going to talk about things that we did do this year that worked or did not work. Okay? Anything about what we did this year on the Consuite? You will be punished, Steve. I'm kidding.
No, actually, I want to echo what the gentleman in the stunning red hat said. My wife and I, Heather, were doing a food panel after tea, and I had very, very brief conversations with Solithria by email before the con. Didn't lay out everything because we made some assumptions like the hotel would be able to provide hot water. And Solithria anticipated the problems, set aside a hot water maker for us before the panel, had pots, set aside a couple of special insulated drafts for us, which unfortunately someone else absconded with in order to use in the Consuite. But that kind of thinking ahead and anticipating the needs of people is absolutely fantastic. I want to thank her personally. Don't dump that one on the volunteers because Lucy was there. I know that too, but the two of you did it all, so thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Thank you.
Something simple. I noticed that the t-shirt printers would need the blow dryer in the bathroom next to the ice bin. Maybe not having the t-shirt printing. Or this year, I just melted the ice. It got really hot in the bathroom next to the meat.
Okay.
This year.
That sounds great.
Eat food.
All right. Next. Going once, going twice. Sold. Too late.
Did anybody die? Did somebody rely for an
Facilities
urgent
now? I will ruin all of your lives. So facilities, I'm happy now. Anything for hotel, network, etc.
This morning, after the parties, there was this one men's room, the public restroom, was pretty much depleted. It had no paper towels. Apparently somebody didn't quite make it all the way into one of the stalls. I of course immediately went to ops so that they could let you know, but just from experience, nice 6 a.m. hit might do a lot more.
Sounds like you got a nice 6 a.m. hit. Assassinated.
Thank you for letting us know. Obviously, it's been a learning process for the first time this year. Unusual for people to stay up all night, and I promise you we'll do a better job of that. I promise.
Anything else for hotel, network, etc.?
More big trash cans.
Yeah, we definitely, midway through I was talking to Paul and we were like, oh, we're out of trash cans? We're going to have to make a run for that next year. We'll figure that out. Thank you.
Well, taking the network thing literally, the Wi-Fi in the lower sections for the convention was very handy, but I did notice a tendency for particularly at this end of the building that the standard web ports seemed either did something weird or I kept getting back failures on pages.
Somebody kept turning on a Linksys router over here.
Guys,
Answering that because I had no
stop
clue.
rolling your own Wi-Fi over our rolling our own Wi-Fi. Especially don't do it in a buried corner that we're barely screaming to because it's in a pocket in the hotel. Well, by the way, before we go on, in terms of the wireless thing, how many people use the wireless here? How many people had legitimate network dropouts aside from weird base cases like that or weird edge cases? We had amazing internet as an almost direct result of even more amazed by the fact that he did it on, we're going to say 2 weeks notice maybe?
2 weeks notice and 6 access points.
And he had to work with me. What else on facilities? This gentleman over here.
Okay, so a couple things. One is on hotel. I don't know if this is proper or not, but blocking a stairwell door open. I don't know if those are fire doors and that's a fire hazard or an issue or not, but just pass that along.
Wait, is that for or against?
Well, so it would be against if it's a rule that those are firewall doors. I don't know if they are or not.
I guess what I'm asking is what happened? Are we saying that
so the door was blocked open? And the stairwell. So you get out of the consuite, you come immediately out of the consuite, that stairwell door was blocked in open position.
Upstairs or downstairs?
On the consuite. Fourth floor. Fourth floor.
Okay. And it caused what problem?
He's wondering if they're fire-rated doors.
They should remain closed. I'm thinking due to the amount of people that were in the suite that someone potentially opened that to get some airflow going.
Okay, so maybe just a follow-up is to put a sign on it saying this is a firewall door, keep closed or something like that.
Maybe we could stop propping doors open, people.
Okay, another item is on the network, the naming resolution wasn't working on the wireless. I talked about that. And
Minor technical issue that we can handle offline.
Yeah, okay,
sorry about
great.
that. Our naming resolution wasn't working internally.
Okay, then just maybe it's a little education for everyone here to maybe let them know that this is a real big area to do on a Wi-Fi, and if you're connected over here and you walk with your device over somewhere else, it tries to reconnect, and there was sometimes you have to drop it and bring it back up. I don't know if there's enough people who understand that. I saw people in rooms saying, I can't get a connection, I can't, because it was still connecting to the farther away connector. That, again, that's just an education thing.
The wireless does some pass off, but it isn't enterprise quality because we cannot afford enterprise quality.
Right, so it's an education thing. Is there something we can do to let people know, drop it and bring it back up manually or something dumb like that?
Well, we do have panels about networking topics throughout the weekend, so I suppose there's a valuable educational tool. If you want to run a panel, I definitely invite you to do a panel on how the network operates. Boom. Oi. Boom. I lied.
Yeah. There was an issue, this was not my issue, but there was an issue with the TVs up in guest rooms that you couldn't plug your computer into, so you couldn't show stuff off of your computers on the TV. But there was people who wanted to show like specific shows in their room party, and they couldn't connect the TV to their computer. And that was an issue, and I thought, since that is a hotel, they should bring it up.
We are fully aware of the dinosaur TVs up there, and our new owners, that is the first thing on renovation is to get a flat screen. So hopefully by the time next year comes around,
The asteroid is on its way for those dinosaurs.
Okay. Now this is, I have a second thing here that it's not necessarily hotel, but it was like placement. Tabletop gaming is right outside this room, which was fine for the most part, except when the bands were up here and doing stuff, because people kept propping open the doors, you couldn't even hear yourself talking. So.
Which goes back to my please stop propping open the frickin' doors, people. Yeah, there's no perfect place to place anything. I love you, Nuri. Oh, by the way, guys, this place would have fallen down on my friggin' ears had it not been for Nuri preventing me from murdering all of you. Seriously, when you go home, hug your families, kiss your wives. Nuri is the reason it wasn't a bloodbath in here. He kept me sane and did so much work. Thank you, Nuri. I love you.
I still didn't get that Brazilian beat. Back in the
I have photographic evidence.
Okay, next up. Yes, sir.
Chris, I have a question for you. How many years have you been doing the Wi-Fi now? This is 2? This is the 3rd. Okay, does anybody else remember what it was like at the other hotels trying to get on the Wi-Fi? And like how impossible it was to get any type of bandwidth? Exactly, right? I personally have the pleasure of knowing Chris for many of years, and I thank you very much, sir, for offering good Wi-Fi. You work tirelessly to do it. We are a bunch of internet-hungry animals, and you deserve a big, huge pat on the back for providing good Wi-Fi, whether or not the budget's slim and the handoffs don't work right or whatever. But thank you very much. And it's a gigantic pain in the ass for facilities sometimes to get the networking guys to give us a network connection to get the Wi-Fi into where we need it. So there's a lot of back stuff that we don't understand about that either. So good job. Thank you.
Also on the topic of the new hotel, I want to say I personally greatly like the new space. I noticed that the elevators in particular did not have a half-hour wait to get to them.
So I'm hearing more elevator parties, right?
I mean,
there were none.
Socialization, but it was quite worth it, yeah.
Oh, that was cold.
He had this up earlier. Yeah, I had trouble finding the stairwells, so maybe if you had the word stairs on the doors to the stairwells, just so you could figure out which door was actually the stairwell.
I think they're number science.
Sir, you have a job. No, good point though. Yeah, it was a little hard. Maybe we can. Well, and Frank, one of the problems was we were going to put it on our signage that had the big picture, except I was ridiculously lazy and couldn't be bothered to figure out where they actually came out. So I was like, fuck it, you guys can figure it out. Next year, I'll remember where they are, and they'll be noted as well. So that's 99.5% my fault, and then the other half is also my fault.
I realize that obviously this hotel is designed for business travelers who are here and there and everywhere. They have their own little groups most of the time. Late at night, it seemed like people were sort of interspersed in like a couple people here, a couple people there. just something to think about for next year. You may want to find a way to structure the furniture such that people congregate into one area later at night. It might be easier for you guys to handle, it might be easier for us to meet together with friends, that kind of thing. I realize that you probably won't be able to do this, but just as a thought, up on 14, there's those chairs right in that central elevator area, which was awesome for those who were able to get up to 14. So just as far as future years go, think about late night congregations and spots.
Thank you.
Okay, actually a signage issue, but not so much our signage. In the past, at other hotels, we've had a lot of things on the walls. I understand we can't really do that at this hotel, but we tend to print and want to post a lot of stuff, and some of them were even going on top of each other. I'm thinking the easel alone really wasn't enough. Maybe if it's like we could get a big board or 2 or 3 easels on each floor.
Yeah, that's something we can definitely attempt to do. We worked on the best solution we could in kind of limited time because signage was something that literally I did not think of until I'm going to say either the last or second to last CONCOM meeting. Somebody was like, yeah, so what are we going to do with signs for parties? Fuck. Apparently we're going to put them on a 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper on the floor in the basement. So yeah, that was because we put it off with that in the forefront of our mind a little bit more. I'm sure we can find a better solution. Thank you.
I like how this hotel is, it's kind of annoying to walk from one end of the hotel to the other because it's long, but I would much rather do that than try to go up and down, and I felt that that really helped ease the burden on the elevators. I also like that we were on like 3, 4, and 5 rather than like 11 through 14. So if we can stay lower to the ground, because I'm more willing to go up 3 to 4 flights of stairs. I'm not going to climb to 14 on the con suite. So thank you so much for that.
It's a secret deep exercise program.
I'm not climbing 14 flights of stairs for Shasta Cola.
Good call. Back here.
I want to say it's nice to have all the space for all the programming that's going on, but it's distributed really far from everything. It's pretty far from everything in a general rule. This hotel seems perhaps a little too large for the usual effect that sci-fi fans want to have when they come to conventions. And I don't know, because we're geeks. One of the big things is, somebody already mentioned, there's no congregation space in the middle of everything, and I don't know if changing the layout of where you're putting things can impact that, but it would be very nice to have a pass-through congregation area. And it's nice that you can use the stairs so that people weren't accompanying somebody in a wheelchair. But I did a crap ton of walking. And very rarely did all of that walking for half a mile back and forth have to pass me by anything other than closed hotel room doors. So I didn't stumble across anything the way I would have in previous years. But, oh, this looks interesting, when we pop in here and see what's going on.
I guess we could move to a smaller hotel. All right, everyone in favor of moving to a smaller hotel? Ready, set, go. Fuck off. Who's next? Boom.
Yeah, I was one thing. The hotel bar could probably be open in the afternoon at a literary convention because the authors like to go there when they don't have any panels.
Yeah,
and then they'll spend money.
Yeah, guess what? I didn't even think to check on were the hours of the bar at all. So there were several times I was like, the fucking bar is what? Oh! So that's something that, now that I know, we'll just work on for next year. It's definitely, thank you for the reminder, but yeah, there were times when I wandered down there to grab a drink, I'm like, really? I'm an idiot. So, and especially, like, I believe it, what was it, 1 a.m. last night or midnight that it last called? Oh. Oh my God, you said 15 numbers. Yeah. It definitely happened last night. Thanks for clearing that up, Scott. No, yeah, like 12:30 we last called. We'll work on that. We can adjust that.
Just real briefly, one thing that, on a positive note, thank you. Dealer's room, loading dock, rub proximity. I appreciate not having to walk through half a mile of maintenance corridors.
Oh, then you're gonna hate next year. Fucking obstacle course. Gauntlet.
I'd like to bring up an issue that I heard about, that there was, that the pool closes at 2 a.m. and some people wanted it to be 24 hours, so that's just a thing, maybe for next year.
It's definitely something we can look into. Also, I'd like a pony. We'll try it again. We'll see what we can do.
Hi. I just wanted to say that.
Well, don't say that.
I was so scared.
Okay.
I'm sorry, who was saying things? Hi, how are you doing? Could you leave the lights on, ma'am?
I just wanted to say that I was really impressed with the hotel staff. I thought that they were really competent and courteous. And
Yeah, let me take a moment to introduce Diane Liberty. This was our contact at the hotel. Who, in addition to being here pretty much all weekend nonstop and helping with the planning, implementation, and taking care of all of the shit that we put her through, she also dealt with me for the entire time. So please give her a huge round of applause. My God, she ought to get a Medal of Honor for that. Indeed, she gets hazard pay now. Anything else facilities related? Going on, going. Fuck, you're up here.
So the lights in this room are connected to the lights in the next room over?
They can be and they are right now.
Wait, they cannot be too? Holy shit.
So
guess what I just learned? Fixable.
Okay.
Guess when I learned that was fixable. Awesome. Sorry about that dealer's room. We blacked him out a couple times. Oh no, it wasn't you. It was we. It was much like this, I imagine, wasn't it? Earlier. Yeah, sorry about that. And wow, we just learned something neat. Phil.
Hey, in the staff department, very personable security personnel. Just have to say thank you for those people. The security folks walking around, a number of times sort of, because they saw I had panelist on my badge or something, stopped and asked me questions about what was going on here and whatnot, and was this an issue, or did I think this would be, why were these people congregating here? And I talked about the con suite and so on, and they, okay, if nobody complains, that's okay, but we're going to keep an eye on it and so on. It was, there were a lot of times that people could have been very hardcore and were not, and just wanted to say thank you. Obviously the cleaning staff has a new challenge, and they've been standing up to the task. And they all are great. So thank you.
And some of your security people even had a sense of humor, which is a nice change.
Sometimes, do they even? So please, these things, if you get that little email survey asking you to rate your experience here, please mention these things. Talk about the positive experiences. If you remember names, please include names. Take care of the house that's been keeping you guys up for the weekend, Any other questions? Yeah. I'll get you next.
Hi. I just came from having lunch. I'm about to head back to Chicago, so I apologize if this has already been brought up, but I wanted to, first of all, thank you for letting me come back and perform again. I really appreciate it. Penguicon is one of my favorite cons to do every year. I wanted to see if, assuming it's going to be at this hotel again next year, if you guys might be willing to talk to the hotel about making it allowable for the music acts who are coming out to perform to be allowed to sell their CDs and merchandise at the actual shows they're doing, rather than being forced to only sell in the dealer room, because a great majority of the sales we usually make are from people impulse buying at the shows themselves. And we had a great setup in DeSoto, but that translating to people finding their way down to the dealer room after the show I did on Saturday afternoon basically ended up nobody, came there directly, so I probably missed out on a bunch of potential sales because of that. So, I mean,
It's something we can discuss.
Hmm?
It's something we can discuss.
All right, cool. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
Any other question? Oh, you were, yeah.
Just a minor suggestion. A couple weeks beforehand, call around to the nearest fooderies and get a list of allergen-aware fooderies.
That's probably something we should do as a con. Oh, sounds like they already have that. Maybe we should have asked, I don't know, our hotel for that. Yeah, so we're batting 1,000 so far. I just shit on you with that one, didn't I? Fucking Shasta Cola.
Send me the list. I'll put it in the souvenir book of those eateries.
I'm sorry?
Send me the list of the restaurants. I'll put a restaurant list in the souvenir book. That would be great.
Absolutely. Send me an email to remind me to do that.
Which address? Which email address?
Hotel ad. Yeah, if you wanna add a lengthy hate screed to whatever you're saying here today, hotel@penguicon.org. I promise you, I read and snarkily respond to almost every single one, often rife with obscenities and misspellings. So it's fantastic. Gratuitous use of caps lock. Next up, right there.
Speaking of the restaurants, we actually went to Sweet Lorraine's in the program book, and this is my fault, but I forgot to say anything to Sweet Lorraine's at the time about how we were there